Theater Denton, in partnership with the Footlight fundraising series, proudly presents Fireside Footlights, a holiday celebration at the campus, saluting Salvation Army of Denton, Hearts for Homes, Health Services of North Texas, The Junction, Beaujolais, and more, benefiting the campus theater. Featuring, in order of appearance, Caleb Norris, Carrie Peters, Holly Maynard, Melanie Barth, Caroline Plush, Travis Barth, Sharon Barnhill, Bryn Probst, Jason Lee, Connie Lane, First United Methodist Church Choir, Cassandra Berry, Mark Graham, Jeff Peters, Scott Hazard, The Trammell Group, Theater Denton Theater School, Kim and Walter Eagleton, and Theater Denton Family and Friends.
Everybody, and welcome to the Footlights here at the historic Campus Theater in Denton, Texas. Tonight, I've come down off of my shelf to join with some of my favorite holiday friends as we celebrate my very favorite time of the year. So, whether you're celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah or my personal favorite, elf hunting season, welcome to the Kids Corner here at the Campus Theater. We're awfully glad that you're a part of the fun here tonight because it's that most wonderful time of the year. And tonight, we're here to tell you most wonderful stories about wonderful people who lived once upon a time in the year 2020, where everyone was wishing for a happily ever after. Tonight, we're going to meet some of those wonderful people and visit some very special places. Places where they help people find their happily ever afters every day. Oh, speaking of special, what better way to start than with a special musical journey? Now, we all know that Santa can fly around the world in one night. But tonight, we're going to go even further. Tonight, we're going on a magical musical journey through space and time. So, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go!
Guten Tag und willkommen. Ja, here I am in the beautiful Austrian Alps with my little guitar. Will you like to draw the guitar? So easy. Make the number 8. Yeah. Sound hole, neck. Will you like to count on strings? See how many strings we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 6 strings on the modern guitar. Oh, I have such a treat for you. You will love it. This is a true story that took place very near here, about 200 years ago, in the small village of Arnsdorf, Austria. The story begins on the night before Christmas Eve. Father James Moore, the parish priest, was very sad. The organ in the little church was broken. It was kaput, yeah. He was so sad that there would not be special music for the Christmas Eve service. That night, while he was walking home, he stood on the hill over the village. He looked down on the little town. It was so peaceful, so beautiful and quiet. There were lights twinkling in the windows of the little houses, yeah, and the stars above shone so brightly. The words to a poem came into his head, and he rushed home and wrote them down. The next day, he showed the poem to the church organist, Franz Gruber. Franz Gruber wrote a beautiful melody to go with these words. The two practiced the song together. That evening, at the Christmas Eve service, there was no organ music. But Father Moore sang for the first time the beautiful Stille Nacht. And now you know, the first time that the world ever heard Silent Night, it was played on the guitar. Auf Wiedersehen!
Welcome back to Crafting with Little Red. Today we're going to make a treasure ball. This is a great ornament that you can hang on your tree at home, and they're very easy, perfect for the entire family. As you can see, they're just filled with lots of different things, and I'll show you how to make one. First, you're going to take your clear ornament and open it right up, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut a sprig of rosemary for remembrance. Stick that in there. And then we're going to cut a sprig of peppermint for health. And as you can see, you've got a little bit of a good luck charm to go as well. But then we get to make it pretty. So you can add some beads, and you can just put those in there. And then you can take some scrap wrapping paper from when you wrapped presents for your loved ones. It adds some color, and it's also a great way to remember what you gave them that year. And then we can add some real sparkle. and add some sequins. These are blue, which are not my favorite color because my favorite color is red, but they're still really pretty. And then you can add, here's my favorite color, some glitter. And you can put in as much or as little as you want. I'm gonna put in a lot. And then finally, you can take a photo of somebody you love and very carefully cut it up so that you have a smaller version right there, as you can see. And then you're going to kind of roll it and pop it in there. And then it's like a piece of confetti, just like the rest of the ornament. And voila, you've got yourself a perfect treasure ball for any Christmas or decorative tree that you have in your home.
Around the world, few holiday symbols are more enduringly beautiful than the legend of Saint Lucia, an ancient mythical figure who brings light to the darkest Scandinavian winters. A symbol of dedication, compassion, and concern for the poor. Today, that work is being carried out by the Salvation Army of Denton.
Hi, I'm Captain Whitney with the Salvation Army here in Denton. I oversee spiritual growth and spiritual care and pastoral care. I'm an ordained minister. I've been here in the Denton facility for 5 years. Before that, I was in West Texas, in Lubbock, Texas. But I've gone through the Salvation Army Seminary School, which is in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And that's a 2-year program, and they send you out wherever the need is. And I got located here in Texas, and now I'm in Denton, and I'm so excited to serve alongside our social services and our church because the social service need here in Denton is great. And I would like to talk about that need for our community here in Denton, Texas, because each Salvation Army services the community need. So each Salvation Army is going to look like what the community needs. And here in Denton, we have a shelter. We have an emergency shelter, and we also have an extended stay shelter. It's all in one location. So our emergency shelter houses people who need emergency care for maybe 5 days. And once they meet with their caseworker, they can extend that care. Our extended stay can stay up to 9 months. And that is someone who's looking to fix their life, looking to step up and step into the challenges of, I can pay my bills. I know how to do it because I've gone through programs to help me learn. So our extended stay program is for those people who are really trying to make an effort to change their lives and to better themselves. And so I get to work alongside these people, and I get to talk to them, ask them what their needs are, and just, support them through prayer, and then support them through just having conversations one-on-one with them. We also do a food pantry program here for Denton because the need for community services that resource groceries is needed. So we have a drive-through system that runs on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 to 11:30. And we service those right now who come through our program who need help with groceries every week. They need help because they can't make ends meet and they are not able to get the groceries from grocery stores. So we are able to help with fresh meat, fresh vegetables, with other items through that, canned food and whatnot. They can get that once a week. So we also do a community dinner at night at 5:30. We have the community lines up outside, and we serve them a hot meal with a drink and a dessert each night, and that goes alongside with our clients who get fed before them, who come in and check in each night at 4 o'clock. So we really need your help. This year, our campaign is #RescueChristmas, and it is our largest fundraising campaign of the year. It is the Red Kettle campaign. And you've probably seen us at a Walmart or Hobby Lobby ringing bells, and that money stays local in Denton County. We use that money to help with our services and our programs that we do every day. So you can go online to denton.virtualredkettle ntx.org. And we at the Salvation Army want to thank you for all that you do and your support. May God bless you.
O ye, O ye, O ye, hearken round and hear ye, all who gather hither. 'Tis I, your royal, favorite, good king. Oh, good king, what's my name? 'Tis I, your king, who looked out and saw the sun. 'Tis I, your king, who looked out and saw the snow lay round about. The frost was cruel, the moon shone bright. I heard each sound and saw each sight. And as we near sweet Christmas tide, I share tonight those things I spied. Among the Yuletide gifts, we're blessed with sights and sounds. Here are the best.
Wearing a white dress to symbolize purity and a red sash to symbolize faith, St. Lucia is best known for the glowing crown of candles she so carefully wears on her head. Tradition says she created the flaming wreath to illuminate her path through the catacombs, freeing her hands to carry more food for the poor and hungry. In the same committed and caring fashion, Hearts for Homes has been serving Denton County seniors in need since 2006.
Hello there, I'm Susan Frank, the founder and director of Hearts for Homes. And with me today, he needs no introduction. That would be Santa.
Oh, Susan, thank you so much. Said the elves and I had such a great time delivering the Christmas baskets full of food and household goodies for the seniors. Tell us, why are those seniors selected?
Well, Santa, not everyone is as fortunate as we are. And the average income of the folks we help is about $700 to $900 a month. They've got to be at least 60 years of age and own their home in Denton County, can't own a second property, and then they have to fit within our income guidelines. And then we'll come in and we make any home repairs that are necessary so that they're left with a home that's safe, well-functioning, and comfortable in which to live out their years with a little hope and dignity. And after all, isn't that what everyone wants?
Absolutely. And Susan, your elves, not mine, but your elves that help do all this work. They were so much fun to be with last week. And how do you go about finding these wonderful people?
Well, we are blessed. We started in 2006 with one volunteer. That would be me. And we have grown to hundreds of volunteers. We have individuals from the community. We have businesses that volunteer with us. We have a lot of businesses that are in the construction trades that donate their time to us. Without all those elves, there's no way we could get this work done. We only have one staff member, our project coordinator, who actually goes out and does repairs, and then he leads all the volunteers to get these repairs done.
That is so good to see people giving back to the community and those people that have already done their life's work and helping them out. That is just a wonderful thing that you do. What can all our girls and boys out here that are on our nice list, what can they do to help us out?
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can help with Hearts for Homes. You can volunteer. You can definitely pray for us because we have lots of challenges along the way. You can donate items such as Home Depot and Lowe's gift cards. You can donate building materials. You can donate financially. So there's a lot of different ways, to give of your time, treasures, and talents to help Hearts for Homes.
Well, thank you so much for including me with bringing some joy, hope, and love to these seniors. It's been a great time.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Santa, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
As Queen of the Land of the Sweets, the Sugar Plum Fairy welcomes you to a place where magical stories are told, and anyone could end up in a spotlight of their very own. So, nestle snug in your beds, while my friends send visions dancing through your heads. After all, 'tis the season for sappy, sentimental sagas. And here are some of the sweetest.
Dear Editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, it's so. So please tell me the truth, is there a Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon, 115 West 95th Street.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus. You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus, but even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus. But that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But that's no proof that they're not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are unseen and unseeable in the world. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all this world there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus. Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood.
"'Twas the night before Christmas in Texas, you bet. But no one seen Santa. He hadn't come yet. The chaps were all hung up, the boots neatly shined, while out on the plains a tough windstorm whined, and Santa was in it with reindeer and sleigh. He'd blown in from Brownsville, down Mexico way. He was squinting from dust and his beard had turned brown. The reindeer were squealing, the sleigh sinking down, till it lurched to a stop at the hills of Big Bend. And Santa said, "Oh, here we'll wait for the dust storm to end. The sleigh's overloaded with great Texas toys. It's too hard to steer with the dust and the noise." Now the problem was time. He had Texas to cross, and the night passing fast. Should he get him a hoss? But no horse was nearby, only longhorns around. "I don't trust 'em," said Rudolph, a paw on the ground. So they huddled to ponder just what could be done to deliver these toys for the kids' Christmas fun. Things were downright disgusting when suddenly came a small Texas voice calling Santa by name. "Howdy, Santa, I'll help. I know just where to go. The way to the great Texas Rangers I'll show. They can do it, I know," chirped the odd little fella. "By Jiminy," said Rudolph, "it's a real armadillo." With the leader, the team quickly moved north by east. Left the dust storm in Abilene. What a relief. All the Rangers were called and they split up that load, and giving a whoop, all directions they rode. San Antonio children all sleeping just so heard, "Y'all have a good one. Remember the Alamo." Now Santa could fly, he had no time to waste. On toward Dallas and Houston the sleigh sped with haste. Heard the band still performing at Billy Bob's bar, and dropped 10-gallon hats and new boots at the door. He swept into Dallas, now feeling quite jolly, and on Pegasus' neck left a small wreath of holly. He rounded Reunion Tower, headed toward Irving to visit the cowboys. There were none more deserving. a big load of footballs, and he bid the skyline goodbye. Season's greetings, he called, and turned south on the fly. All the oil towers were lighted, the air seemed alive as he headed for Houston on I-45. At the Astrodome, someone had left him a treat. Fresh barbecue, chili, and nachos to eat. Oh, how I love Texas, Santa sang with high cheer as he passed Neiman Marcus drinking Lone Star root beer. His huge load of toys got dropped off one by one to each sleeping child and his dad and his mom. Then headed to Beaumont, the whole team took flight. Merry Christmas to Texas, and to y'all, a good night.
The Gift of the Magi, $1.87. That was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time. 3 times Della counted it. She stood by the window and looked out dully at a gray cat walking a gray fence in a gray backyard. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day, and she only had $1.87 with which to buy Jim a present. $20 a week doesn't go far. Expenses had been greater than she calculated. Many a happy hour she had spent planning for something nice for him, something fine and rare and sterling, something just a little bit near being worthy of the honor of being owned by Jim. There was a pier glass between the windows of the room. Suddenly she whirled from the window and stood before the glass. Rapidly she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its full length. Now, there were 2 possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch, which had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair. So, Della's hair, beautiful hair, fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. It reached below her knee and made itself almost a garment for her. And then she did it up again nervously and quickly. Once she faltered for a minute and stood still while a tear or 2 splashed on the worn red carpet. With a whirl of skirts and with a brilliant sparkle still in her eyes, she fluttered out the door and down the stairs to the street. Where she stopped, the sign read, Madame Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. 1 flight up, Della ran and collected herself, panting. Will you buy my hair? Asked Della. I buy hair, said Madame. Take your hat off and let's see. Let's have a sight at the looks of it. Down, down rippled the brown cascade. $20, said Madame, lifting the mass with a practiced hand. Give it to me quick, said Della. Oh, in the next 2 hours, tripped by with rosy wings. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. She found it at last. There were no other ones like it in the stores. A platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design. It was even worthy of the watch. $21 they took from her for it, and she hurried home with 87 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason. She got out her curling irons and went to work repairing the ravages made by generosity added to love. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully, and critically. Oh, if Jim doesn't kill me, she said to herself, before he takes a second look at me, he'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? What could I do with $1.87? At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was back on the stove, hot and ready to cook the chops. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat near the door that he always entered. Then she heard his step on the stair, and she turned white for just a moment. She had a habit for saying little silent prayer about the simplest everyday things, and now she whispered, "Please, God, make him think I'm still pretty." The door opened, and Jim stepped in. He looked thin and very serious. Poor fellow, he was only 22. He needed a new overcoat, and he was without gloves. Jim stopped inside the door. His eyes were fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. It was not anger, nor surprise, nor disapproval, nor horror, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. He simply stared at her fixedly with a peculiar expression on his face. "Jim, darling," she cried, "don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold because I couldn't have lived through another Christmas without giving you a gift. It'll grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Well, say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I've got for you." "You cut off your hair?" asked Jim. "Cut it off and sold it," said Della. "Well, don't you like me just as well anyhow? I'm me without my hair, ain't I?" Jim looked at the room curiously. "You say your hair is gone," he said, with an air almost of idiocy. "You needn't look for it," said Della. "It's sold, I tell you, sold and gone too. It's Christmas Eve, boy. You'd be good to me, for it went for you. Maybe the hairs on my head were numbered," she went on with sudden sweetness, "but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the chops on, Jim?" Out his trance, Jim seemed quickly to wake. He drew a package from his overcoat pocket and threw it upon the table. "Don't make any mistake, Dell," he said, "about me. I don't think there's anything that could make me like a girl any less. But if you'll unwrap that package there, you see, you may know what's been going on for me for a while." White fingers tore at the string in the paper, and then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then alas, a quick change to hysterical tears and wails. For there lay the combs, the set of combs that Della had worshipped long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoiseshell with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in the beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive combs, she knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now they were hers. But the tresses that should have adorned the coveted adornments was gone. Oh, but she hugged them to her bosom, and at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile and say, "My hair grows so fast, Jim." And then Della leaped up like a singed cat and said, "Oh, wait." Jim had not seen his beautiful present. She held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm. The dull, precious metal seemed to flash with a reflection to her bright and ardent spirit. "Isn't it a dandy, Jim? I hunted all over town to find it. You'll have to look at the time 100 times a day now. Now give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it." Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled on down to the couch and put his hands under the back of his head and smiled. "Dell," said he, "let's put our Christmas presents away. They're too nice to use just at present. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs." The Magi, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. Being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat whose most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures in their house. But in a last word, to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all these gifts, these two were the wisest. They are the Magi.
You don't have to be Swedish to celebrate St. Lucia Day. In Mexico, she's known as Santa Lucia, and in Sicily, she's St. Lucy. But everywhere around the world on December 13th, a festival of lights is held in honor of her shining goodness and charity. St. Lucia gave her life to service and gave all her worldly goods to the poor and lonely. In a world where so many are in need of that comfort and care, Health Services of North Texas is reaching out to fill those needs in our community.
Hey there, this is Terry Johnson over at Health Services of North Texas. I have the privilege of getting to connect people in our community to much needed medical care, behavioral health care, pediatrics, prenatal care, and so much more. We love this community, and I've lived here all my life and want nothing more than to see our community be healthy and well. So that's what I get to do, is connect those people to care. So Health Services of North Texas, we are your community health center. We are on the front lines providing care for those people in our community that need us the most. So let's say somebody has lost their job, they've lost their health insurance. And by the way, this is a really common occurrence right now. We get calls for help every day from people who have found themselves in this situation. So we want to be their medical home. So come on in and schedule an appointment. Meet with one of our MDs, our nurse practitioners, our PAs, and get connected to care. Health Services of North Texas has seen a 21% increase in uninsured patients in 2020. The need is astounding. Our patients are working hard and trying to find their way, some of them working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. Many patients have lost their health insurance and find themselves in a situation that they've never been in before. Health Services of North Texas is here for our community on the front lines, serving every day. We hope that you will join us in this mission. Thank you.
My goodness, how the world has changed since last Christmas. Rudolph and the reindeer are wearing masks. In the workshop, the elves are using hand sanitizer and working 6 feet apart. Instead of coming down the chimney and stuffing stockings, this year Santa thinks he might just leave things on the porch and send a text message. But no matter how far you are from your loved one this Christmas, some things never change. It wouldn't be Christmas without them, like my Mr. Claus and his little friends, Frosty and the Grinch, and the Nutcracker, and those adorable singing chipmunks. Oh, and there's that Bing Crosby song, White Christmas. And if you've been in Denton for the last 30 years or so, you will know that it's not the holidays without the Trammell Group.
Check the malls right now, by golly, fa la 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 la. There's a reason they're so jolly, fa la 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 la. Twinkle lighting, jingle belling, fa la 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 la. Christmas is the thing they're selling, fa la 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 la.
It's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. The aroma of evergreen, of Florax and Mr. Clean, the scent of peppermint and cookie dough. It's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas. Pledge and Lysol sprays, scented candles and spicy tea mixed with pine and potpourri. It's the holidays. The scent of peppermint sticks and the vapor of Vicks and the smells that come from the stoves. Marshmallow yams and those honey glazed hams that are baked and studded with cloves. From burning logs to eggy nogs, the season's treasure troves. It's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Scents of oranges and holly leaves, of cider and cedar reeves, that smell you get when wool gets wet in snow. It's beginning to smell a lot like Christmas. Once a year bouquet. Take a whiff and your heart can tell by that plastic reindeer smell. Santa's on his way.
Away above my head I see the strangest sights. A man upon the roof who's fiddling with his lights. He fiddles in the wind, he fiddles in the leaves. He fiddles with the strings and hangs them from the eaves. Here's to the men who fiddle on the roof, who run extension cords to dazzling displays. Here's to the fiddlers with the twinkle toes who brighten up our holidays. This fiddler on the roof I've never understood. He climbs up on his house to flash the neighborhood. Each Christmas holiday I see him tack and plug, and there upon his roof he spells out the humbug. Here's to the men who fiddle on the roof, who run extension cords to dazzling displays. Here's to the fiddlers with the twinkle toes who brighten up our holidays. A fiddler on the roof, the strangest sort around. 1 month he puts lights up, the next he takes them down.
I have often walked on this street before, but I never saw the neighborhood compete before. All at once I find every house but mine is outlined on the street where I live. There are reindeer sleighs in each twinkling yard. Every shrubbery and rooftop has been draped and starred.
There are wreaths galore hung on every door, all but mine on the street where I live. And oh, that towering feeling, just to know their bills will be huge. That overpowering feeling that every neighbor on the block thinks I'm a Scrooge. People stop and stare like my yard is trash, for there's no place in the neighborhood that doesn't flash. Let the shadows lurk, but it's too much work. I'm the jerk on the street where I live. I'm the jerk on the street where I live.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, crowded churches and malls, in the grocery store and at the movies. People listening, people whispering, there's a hush in the air, and above all the quiet you hear. Silver bells, jingle bells, it's Christmas tunes on a cell phone. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Please take that cell phone away. Stopped at streetlights, running stoplights on the freeway ahead, with one hand changing lanes and U-turning. While conversing, they're reversing, chatting on while they park, and whenever you pass them, you hear silver bells, jingle bells, it's Christmas tunes on a cell phone. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Please take those cell phones away. Perfect strangers round the mangers where the carolers sing. 'Neath the star shepherds kneel in the silence. No surprise then when the wise men try to answer a call, that this message the angels did sing. Silver bells, jingle bells, it's Christmas tunes on a cell phone. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Please take that cell phone away.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, lean your weight this year. Could you drop some helpful hints in my husband's ear? Help him to select the gifts marked to Mom from Dad. We both know his heart is good, but his taste is bad. Please don't let him buy colognes, lotions, or perfumes. crock or stock or coffee pots, heating pads or brooms. Please steer him away from clothes, never works at all. He's bought mediums for years, and I wear a small. Every year the things he buys have to be exchanged, but there is a perfect gift that could be arranged. Something every woman wants and appreciates. Santa, please for me this year, gift certificates.
Christmas is coming, fa la fa la. The drummers are drumming, fa la fa la. The pipers are piping, fa la fa la. The gripers are griping, fa la fa la. Oh, some trim the spruce tree, and some trim the fir tree, and some trim for Christmas the cedar. But me and me clan, we prefer to trim a pine. And the pine we prefer is a Scotch one. Oh, some use the masking, and some use the strapping, and some VCR and cassette fun. But to me and me clan, we prefer adhesive tape. And the tape we prefer is a Scotch one. Oh, some take the snapshot and some take the long, and some hunt the grouse with a shotgun. But to me and me clan, we prefer the whiskey strut. And the shot we prefer is a Scotch one. So you take the high price, and I'll pay the low price, and I'll get to Sam's right before ye. For me and me clan, we prefer the normal price. And we're sure, oh, my Sam is a Scotch one.
Busted pipes, hear 'em dripping in the lane. Tires are slipping, it's colder than heck. You're risking your neck, driving in a winter wonderland. Gone away are the pond ducks, here to stay are the sand trucks. There's snow on the ground as we slide around, driving in a winter wonderland. Oh, in the morning cars that try to go ram, sliding sideways into poles and trees. Try to call a wrecker, he'll say, no ma'am. What kind of fool goes out in 10 degrees? But later on, fate may bless you, send a cop to your rescue, who'll say on the spot, you're better off not driving in a winter wonderland. Texas in a winter wonderland. in the attic, way in back. There's a place where the decorations and lights are stacked. Somewhere up in the attic, moths eat felt. Tinsel tarnishes, glass balls shatter, and candles melt. What playful, unseen force attacks and tangles up the garlands and the light strings? Who dusts the silver bells with rust and makes the Christmas angel bust her upper right wing? Somewhere up in the attic, it gets hot. I got up in the attic. Next year, I swear I'm not. So when the presents disappear, our Christmas tree is staying up all year.
Come, they told me, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. Your kinfolk's kids to see, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. Come see your family, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. Around the Christmas tree, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. So I packed my bags, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, me and my Toms. All my siblings, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. We sat and watched TV, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. Sang Christmas songs off key, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. Bubba had his RV, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. Slept on his settee, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, me and my Toms. Christmas morning, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. I was a nervous wreck, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. A crick was in my neck, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum. I'm not a Scrooge, but heck, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum, rum-pa-bum-bum. I need peace on earth, ba-rum-pa-bum-bum, me and my Toms. I'm dreaming of a light Christmas, low cal and low cholesterol, where I would not eat stuff like fried and sweet stuff and gain not a pound at all. I'm dreaming of a light
Christmas. With every chocolate that I bite, may my pants and waistband be tight. But a low-carb Christmas isn't right.
How do you drink an awful thing like eggnog? How do you down a cup of Christmas cheer? How do you drink an awful thing like eggnog when you can have brunch with champagne or punch or beer? Many a time I held my cup politely. Many a time I hoped nobody saw. First I would pretend to drink, then pour it all down the sink. There ought to be a dietary law. Oh, how do you drink an awful thing like eggnog? How do you swallow eggs when they are raw?
Seems every Christmas it's the same old song. I make the same request. So if you find your shopping list is long, allow me to suggest fruit cake, fruit cake. Oh, please don't send another fruit cake. Buy me a bottle brandy, scotch, or gin. Real men don't eat things from a painted Christmas tin. Fruit cake, fruit cake. I hate that candied pill for Pete's sake. Don't send another, 'cause I've still got the last fruit cake you bought.
A little flour, a cup or two of sugar and some butter too. The smell of lovin', warm from the oven, we're baking cookies. Oh, chocolate chip or raisin crunch, love by the bite or by the bunch. We'll need a cutter, some peanut butter, we're baking cookies. Gingerbread men or oatmeal, sugar or lemon drop, cinnamon shapes with frosting and sprinkles on the top. Those Santa sweets and Christmas bells, those special treats and magic smells. Nothing says home like the aroma of baking cookies. Who cares if they're misshapen or taken out too soon? While they are in the oven, we get to lick the spoon. Some crave the smell of forest pine or French perfume or vintage wine, but I would rather be here together just baking cookies.
Wing nuts, washers, and instruction flyers, gear shifts, handlebars, and shocks, spare parts scattered with screwdrivers and pliers, and pieces missing from the box. Better watch the clock, you've still got 2 more bikes to go, and outside it's getting light. Tiny tots will be waking, you know, to see what Santa left last night. They've told old Santa what they'd like, and every one of them has asked him for a bike. They put their stockings up and made a list. If they're not under the tree, they'll be missed. And so I'm offering this good advice to parents who are so inspired. No matter the price, if it says this thing twice, some assembly, some assembly, some assembly required.
Turkey roasting in a roasting pan, giblet gravy getting hot, chilled cranberries being poured from a can, potatoes boiling in the pot. Everybody's got some favorite dish or recipe. Cheese and broccoli casserole, cornbread dressing, candied yams, English peas. I'm running out of mixing bowls, but there's a cake I have to frost, the celery sticks to stuff and salad to be tossed. I've got the relish tray and rolls to fix, and I've been working since 5:45. And every year I can't help wondering, how awful would it really be to load up my bunch and have loobies for lunch. Merry Christmas to me.
May the joy of Christmas find us, fa la 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 la, and within our hearts remind us, fa la 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 la, in the rush of modern living, fa la 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 la.
Christmas isn't gifts, it's giving.
Fa la la la, fa la la la, fa la 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 la.
I have to admit, it isn't always easy being a shining light, trying to provide food and shelter for the needy, comfort and hope to the homeless, and most of all, serve as an inspiration to others to give and share. At this time of year, no one better understands these challenges than the volunteers of the Monsignor King Outreach and Our Daily Bread, who have now united their services to become The Junction.
Hello, my name is Roy Metzler, and I'm former president of the Monsignor King Outreach Center and current co-president of a newly formed organization, The Junction. Right now, we're open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We open at 6 in the evening, and we provide a hot meal, showers, different activities that we try to provide with distancing, of course. We're limited what we can do, but also case management and helping people to get into temporary or transitional housing. Then we close during the day. We're only open at night, and we give coffee, and then we have a bus service. The DCTA takes everyone over to Our Daily Bread for breakfast. Back in 2000, Monsignor Charles King was the pastor at Immaculate Conception Church, and I worked very closely with him building all the new facilities out on Bonnie Bray. And in 2005, him and I were roaming the grounds looking at some drainage issues, and I saw him staring back at all our facilities, and I said, having a little moment of pride there, Monsignor? And he never looked at me, and he said, no, it really bothers me that we can build an $11 million campus, but we have no place for the homeless to go when it's freezing outside. And I said, oh, come on, can't you just be like a normal person? And he goes, I'm not kidding. He said, we need to do something about it. And that kind of began it all, and we started in the church and then went to different buildings throughout the next few years until we came to this facility. The city let us use it, and we've remodeled it and expanded it. This past January, we were going full-time, 7 days a week, with an enhanced shelter approach to house more people, with more case management. And of course, like everything, COVID hit and threw us for a loop. Sometime during that, we began discussions with Our Daily Bread about the possibility of merging together because we work with a lot of the same clients. About then, the city approached us about a new building that they had over on Loop 288 that would be perfect for both of us to continue our operations at if we would consider doing that. So we started negotiations and figuring it all out how we would do it, and we decided the simplest way was to merge into one new, bigger organization, which is now called The Junction. And we're very excited about it. The facility is going to help us do a lot of things that we couldn't do separately, and we look forward to a future of helping more people.
Hello, I'm Wendy McGee. I'm the Executive Director of the Junction of Denton County, formerly known as Our Daily Bread and Monsignor King Outreach Center. Today we are at Our Daily Bread. Currently we operate in 3 different locations, but today we're at Our Daily Bread at St. Andrew Presbyterian Church. I'd like to tell you a little bit about what we do here and how we serve our community. We offer meals, safe shelter, and a host of wraparound supportive services to people who are experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. What that looks like is a breakfast 6 days per week, a warm, nutritious lunch 6 days per week, and anyone can come to us and receive a meal, receive shelter, and we welcome them with an open door, with open arms, and we really promote a culture of kindness, compassion, and grace. Once folks come to us, we try to meet them where they are. What that means is we try to build a trusting relationship with them, and sometimes that can be just a smile and a hello, how are you doing, a warm meal, and then from there, we become part of their community, part of their family, and we look at them as family members as well, and we try to find out how we can best assist them. Our Daily Bread and Monsignor King Outreach Center, the Junction of Denton County, rely solely on the generosity of this community. We would encourage you to come and be a part of this mission. If hunger and homelessness are something that you are passionate about, we would love to have you here helping us, volunteering your time. We also rely heavily on donations of in-kind items. So this year we'll serve about 175,000 meals. That's up 40% from last year, but most all of those meals are served through donated food. So we partner with Tarrant Area Food Bank and grocery stores, and we pick up from those grocery stores every day of the week. The folks who are going and picking up those donations are volunteer drivers. So there are so many opportunities to volunteer. And if you're passionate about the work that we are doing, I know that we can find a spot for you to come in and really make a difference. You can visit our website, ourdailybreaddenton.org, or you can visit us on Facebook, or you can reach out to us via phone, or just come and see us. We would love to have you come in, take a look, see the good work we're doing, and be a part of it. Thank you.
Little Jack Horner sat in a corner, eating a Christmas pie. I stuck in my thumb and pulled out a plot and said, "Distinguished guests, a salute to holiday traditions."
Bonjour and bon fête, everybody. It's Walter and Kim Eagleton coming to you from the beautiful Loire Valley of France.
Normally at this time of year, we would be with guests on artistic gourmet adventure, traipsing around the Christmas markets of France. But as we all know, that's just not possible this year.
So, in the spirit of the French Christmas markets, we've decided to prepare a couple of tasty treats for you.
So we are going to make some vin chaud, which means hot wine. And it is different than mulled wine because the ingredients are there's a little more seasoning than mulled wine. Plus we're going to add something special. So the first thing you need is a bottle of red wine. You don't want it too robust. You don't want it too expensive. You don't want it too cheap. Just a nice bottle of wine. So we're going to pour that in there. Our second ingredient is about a half cup of brandy. You can use cognac also. So we're going to add that. And then for a little bit of sweetness, we're going to add a half a cup of orange juice. In here we have some sliced orange halves, so we're going to put those in there. For our seasoning or spiciness, we have a cinnamon stick. We're going to add 2 cardamom pods, 4 cloves, and 2 star anise. And then some people add cranberries to float on top. They don't really give you that much flavor, so we like the red currants. So we are going to stir this all around. So now our vin chaud is all mixed, and we're going to take it to the stove, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Now, if you like, taste it, add some more seasoning if you like, or you can add, sometimes it's not sweet enough, so you can add some sugar substitute, or you can add some more brandy. That's what I thought. Okay. So now Walter has another special treat for you.
All right, our vin chaud has come to a boil, and now we're just going to turn that down and let it simmer, and we'll move on to our next recipe. All right, so another favorite to have while you're walking around the Christmas markets is a wonderful mixture of spiced nuts. Now, the ones that you'll get at the Christmas markets in France are actually hot roasted nuts, but we're doing kind of a Texas version of these, and so I've done a spice mixture for these nuts. So I've got a mixture, and it's so easy. There's basically 3 ingredients. You've got your nut mixture, you've got butter, and then you've got your spice mixture. So I've got a mixture of pecans, some walnuts, some almonds, and some peanuts, and you can use whatever you want in this mixture. And then we've got our butter, and then we've got our spice mix, and that is where the magic happens. So in this magic spice mix, I've got a teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of smoked paprika, a 1/4 teaspoon of berber, and if you don't know what berber is, it is a fantastic Ethiopian spice. It's a little bit hot, so you use it carefully. And then we got an 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cumin, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of brown sugar. So those are our ingredients. Let's get to the stove. All right, we're just going to melt our butter, and I'm not sure if I said it or not. We've got I usually use a tablespoon of butter for 2 cups of nuts. I've got probably 3 cups of nuts here, so we'll use about 1.5 tablespoons of butter, because we want to make sure that everything is nice and well coated with the butter. So we're going to melt our butter, and once the butter melts, we'll put our spice mix in. So I want to make sure that I mentioned that you should preheat the oven when you first start this recipe, just to make sure it comes up at temperature. And we're going to cook this in the oven. Once we get everything coated with the butter, we're going to put them in a pan and put them in the oven at 425 degrees until basically you kind of start smelling it. And once you start smelling it, it's time to take them out, because they'll continue to cook once you take them out. But literally, it probably will only take 10, maybe 12 minutes, something like that. But you really want to be careful, because you will burn them if you leave them much longer than that. So our butter is nice and melted, beautiful. And now we're going to put in our spice mix. And you can always come back and add a little bit more of the spice mix if you think you need some. So, all right, and so now just once you've got everything in the pan, we're just going to shake it around. Make sure everything is nice and coated. And once everything is nice and coated, then we're just going to transfer everything to our roasting pan. Now, once you transfer the nuts to your roasting pan, make sure you scrape that pan with a spatula and get all that wonderful goodness out of that pan. And then you can just pour that over the nuts. So now we just go into the hot oven for 10-12 minutes. So about halfway through, 5-6 minutes in, go ahead and just stir the nuts around a little bit with your spatula, just to make sure that everybody is getting a little of that juice and that nobody is getting burned on the bottom. That's been about 4 or 5 minutes, and I can smell those nuts. Let's take them out, because I know that they are done. Oh yes, beautiful. Look at that. All right, so now this is an important step. When you first take these out, you want to make sure, what I like to do is just transfer them to another pan where I can lay them out, because they actually need to cool down. When you first take these out, they will not be crisp until they've actually had a chance to cool down for a little bit. So I take them out and just transfer them to another pan with parchment paper. I don't have paper towel, because we don't really want to soak up any butter. We want to use that butter, or we want to taste that butter. So we're just going to let them cool down, and they take about 15 minutes or so to cool down, and they will be ready to enjoy.
We hope you enjoy these recipes, and we'd love for you to come and experience Christmas in France someday.
Until then, from our house to yours,
Joyeux Noël and Bonne Année.
Welcome back to Crafting with Little Red, and today we're going to make a candy dreidel. Candy dreidels are pretty easy to make for anybody, any age, but they're great, especially for our friends who celebrate Hanukkah. So first you're going to get yourself a kosher marshmallow. Now most marshmallows are made with gelatin, but kosher marshmallows are available at pretty much any grocery store. And so you're going to get your kosher marshmallow, a pretzel stick, and you're going to poke the pretzel stick right into the top of your marshmallow. That makes the top of your dreidel. Then you're going to get a Hershey's Kiss and a little bit, not much, but just a little bit of hazelnut spread to go on the bottom. And then that acts as a glue for the bottom of your dreidel. Now that right there is already a dreidel, but what you're going to want to do is write one of the Hebrew letters that go on actual dreidels. They stand for Nes Gadol Hayashem, and that means, in English, a great miracle happened there. So you just get some cookie icing and write your letter very carefully. And there you have a candy dreidel.
Light is an important part of celebrations all around the world. People use different lights to celebrate: candles, lanterns, bonfires, fireworks, and even the light of the moon. In Italy, families have a bonfire to celebrate the winter solstice. Since ancient times, people have burned a Yule log to celebrate the sun's birthday. On the shortest day of the year, Italians celebrate longer, brighter days to come.
Christmas is a fun, festive time of the year in Japan. It is not seen as a religious holiday or a celebration, but they do eat a Japanese strawberry shortcake and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yum!
In France, families burn candles on the 4 Sundays before Christmas. This is called Advent.
In Bolivia, one of the traditions is to have a nativity figurines during the Christmas season at home and attend the church service with a figure of the baby Jesus.
In the Philippines, they light star-shaped lanterns 9 days before Christmas.
In Mexico, people light luminaries on the path of their house each night the 9 days before Christmas. They do this to celebrate Las Posadas, as they pretend to be Mary and Joseph looking for a place to stay.
In the United States, many people use electric lights on Christmas trees.
Candlelight is a part of many celebrations. People light candles big and small of many different colors to celebrate many different holidays. There are many special candle holders used to hold candles during important celebrations.
During the 8 nights of Hanukkah in Israel and around the world, people light 8 candles in a special candle holder called a menorah. During the 7 nights of Kwanzaa, families light up 1 candle each night. Each candle represents one of the 7 principles for the holiday.
On the beach in Rio de Janeiro, people light hundreds of candles and ask the goddess of the sea for good luck in the new year. Many people also use candles to celebrate special events like weddings and birthdays.
Lanterns and lamps are lit with gas and oil and are used in festivals and celebrations around the world. In Holland, children carry a lantern to house while getting candy on St. Martin's Day.
Muslims Egypt hang lanterns around the house to celebrate the holy month of Ramadan.
In India, people light hundreds of oil lamps for the festival of lights called Diwali.
Whatever holiday you celebrate, whatever light means to you, always remember to let your light shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Though time and seasons come and go, some days return year after year. Those days we celebrate annually. Birthdays and anniversaries, Christmas and New Year's, and of course, the 4th of July. And in Sweden, every December 13th, the oldest daughter of the household rises before dawn to lead a procession of her younger siblings. Singing their way to the kitchen, they celebrate Lucia Day by serving their parents the traditional raisin buns for breakfast. And another time-honored tradition, it happens every third Thursday in November. In France, the Beaujolais Nouveau wine is released. And here in Denton, for the past 20 years, we've gathered to celebrate the Beaujolais and More fundraiser at the Campus Theater.
Every year, on the third Thursday of November, several dozen French vintners release their Beaujolais Nouveau. The bottles are flown around the world upon the vintage's release, arriving in time for people to enjoy Beaujolais Nouveau Day. Denton's own celebration of the grape began over 20 years ago with a couple of wine enthusiasts, the late Gary Kirchhoff and his wife Carol, and a few of their close friends. It started as a private party in the couple's home. The pair was also involved with the community theater, and as more of their friends and acquaintances wanted to be involved with the wine event, they realized that it could be an ideal fundraising event for the campus theater. Today, a committee of dedicated volunteers begins working months in advance to host the event every year. Over 20 local restaurants, caterers, and beverage suppliers donate their most delicious offerings to sample during the festive evening. Annually, Beaujolais and More raises over $20,000 through ticket sales and sponsorships, which goes directly toward the upkeep and maintenance of our Texas historical landmark, Campus Theater. Obviously, due to the restrictions created by the pandemic, the biggest party in town with 400 to 500 in attendance could not be held this year. Even though the Campus Theater's official fundraiser was canceled, the maintenance needs never stopped. Your donations tonight to Beaujolais and More will go directly to those needs. Be sure to put November 18th, 2021 on your calendar now, when we will once again gather with the friends and supporters of downtown Denton's crown jewel, the Campus Theater, at Beaujolais and More 2021. can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents by the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us into your home this evening to celebrate the holidays and to support these vital Denton nonprofit organizations. The generosity of Denton should be an example for all communities to follow. Denton is special, and Denton is our home. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Merry Christmas, everyone.